One thing that's unique, and I hate to throw stones, but since he's a geologist, he's seen plenty and can catch a few. Robert Schoch of University of Boston has claimed, with the assistance of financial backing will always mislead you if you allow it, and especially if you can be misled, has gone to great lengths to demonstrate that the erosion patterns on the body of the Sphinx are from ancient rains of the time of Atlantis. It's kind of a unique theory when you talk about the rains of 10,000 years ago, because we don't have any record. So he goes into the mystic and things of that nature, and then he claims that it was of Atlantean design. We've already demonstrated that the Sphinx actually came after the pyramid, and it's quite clear because otherwise they would have had to move rocks from another location past the hole to get to the hill. But here's something interesting to find out. Our geologist friends who claim that the Sphinx erosion is part of rain and other things have never correctly assessed and established where the water table is. And I show you using aerial images and a wide host. I even use Google Earth. I give you a whole bunch of data so that you can look at it, and then you can go to Google Earth and look and confirm what I've told you is true. The water table today, and I have a whole bunch of pictures overlooking a water plain on top of the Giza Plateau, a water plain demonstrating, and Google Earth helps us to demonstrate that the water table today is only 7 to 9 feet below the base of the Sphinx. This is critical to understand. We have pictures taken of holes from the surface just over the top with the Sphinx here. I took a picture here of Sphinx, picture here a hole, and there's moisture in the hole. I actually take pictures from a rock bluff. I call it a Sphinx bluff over the top of the Sphinx, demonstrating that the bluff once possibly connected, creating a hill. Once the hill was removed, they created the pyramids. But when you actually go, if the Sphinx is facing this way and you take a picture from this angle, there are oak trees, or trees, 65 feet tall on the opposite side of the Sphinx. There are trees in this desert region the height of the Sphinx. It's just not common for you to capture that in your picture because you look to the pyramid rather than looking this way. By taking a picture over the top, I demonstrate there are trees as tall as the Sphinx in their proximity to the Sphinx. I'm a simple guy, but when I find trees in the desert, I realize there's water there. Water table. We then go to the other side of the trees and demonstrate there's a graveyard in the sand, a current modern graveyard very near the Giza plateau. And we take a picture from a water table area over above ground graves, capturing the above ground graves, the trees, and the Sphinx, all in the same picture. But the graves are above ground because the water table is too high. The graves would float just like in New Orleans. You build them above ground. The tree is there because within 6 to 10 feet you have a water table for it to feed on. It wouldn't live without it. And we demonstrate that all this is there. The funny thing our geologist friends have missed is the water table today is only 7 to 9 feet below the structure. And upriver from the Giza Plateau, we have the Aswan Dam, which forms the Nasser Lake, which is the largest man-made lake in the world. I submit to you that if the Aswan Dam was removed and the water was allowed to come downstream naturally, not only would it wipe out the city of Cairo because it's built on a riverbed, the water table would rise because there would be more water in the soil. We're stopping so much water up at Aswan, which is 300–400 miles away. It's no longer coming down, and the water table is dropped. What you have to realize, and I demonstrate this using Google Earth aerials and a whole bunch of really simple science that you can fully access on your own, that the water table is not that high, it's not that low, and it would be higher, and it would be still higher with just a couple of other issues. Here's one thing. If the river was closer to the pyramids, as we've been told it was, then the water table would naturally be higher because the water would permeate the sand. Interestingly, if we were dumb enough to pile up a whole bunch of rock on a plateau, we would compress the soils, and the river, water following the path of the least resistance, we would actually move the river, which was part of the reason and the tool we used to build the structure. So piling up the rock actually helped move the river. If we could bring it all back, we would actually see that the Sphinx was submerged up to its shoulder at one point in time in standing water, and we could demonstrate this many ways. Our friend Schock and John Anthony West don't want you to know that, because if groundwater rose as it was in the day and the time, it would naturally explain the low rock quality at the bottom of the Sphinx. It would naturally explain the erosion, and it would naturally explain why the head of the Sphinx does not experience the same erosion patterns. Unfortunately, it would naturally explain that they have deceived you, and because of their technical ability, being geologists and everything they purport to be, they demonstrate that their research is flawed, their theory is deceptive, and they may have misled you elsewhere.